Hey sexy souls, how are you all doing? Welcome to Weird and Woo Woo. I've got a reading for you. As you can tell, I've already started it. This feels like it's linked into the 2025 location changes and events that are going to be happening in January. The level of excitement and like anticipation that I'm feeling, that's the energy I'm tapping into. I will say preliminarily, on the outset, a lot is going to be happening in the last 2 weeks, okay, of January. So before I dive in though, I want to give you a friendly reminder, okay? You are a sovereign being and you get to determine if, how, when, where, why any of these messages might apply. All right. So whatever you do, don't Cinderella shit to make it fit. Okay. Fantastic. When I was pulling these cards, I saw the wolf moon. Now I started this yesterday and something just kept feeling like it was exciting. And I would get started, but it was like, I couldn't seem to move beyond these cards. And I just decided I'm going to leave it here for later. I was like, I'm going to come back to this because this is important. I can tell that it is. But immediately when I pulled this, I was like, oh my God, we just had that. The wolf moon. Like we just had that. The full moon on the 13th was the wolf moon, the wolf full moon. And I was like, I feel like that's timing. And that's before any of this came out. Okay. The rest of it. And I was like, I really think that's timing. Like, I think that's more, like, I didn't read this at all as the card itself. Right. But when I got them all out, then I saw the new moon and I was like, oh, and it clicked with me. These are book endings. This is what's happening between these dates. Now, we do have another new moon and it fit with the energy I was already picking up. Like it's going to be, this is focusing on January. You know what I mean? I was like, okay. I was like, and at first it wasn't screaming loud and clear that it was location changes. Whew, my heart is like pounding. But when these came out, I was like, oh yeah, it's talking about January because the new moon is on January 29th. So between the time in which we just had the full moon and the new moon, a lot is going to be happening. And I could feel a lot of like sudden, like not things not necessarily anticipated, but very sudden stuff happening. Okay. Now I do want to let you know that all of this is good shit and you're going to be really excited about this. But it's a lot. I will tell you that much. Okay. Let me just go over the cards really quick and then we will see if we can't get some details about this for you. Okay. Waxing gibbous moon really talks about things kind of like coming to a culmination, like all your efforts being rewarded. It does talk about really good things. And this is the overall energy. Okay. Because it's the center card. It's like surprises, chance encounters, a windfall. It is a card of like abundance, growth, things balancing out, all that kind of stuff, right? And so it's really just about success is what I want to say. And good shit coming in very unexpected ways is what I want to say. The moon here, you're gonna love this, you're gonna love it. I did bring out the book just in case I forgot anything because like I said, I went over this yesterday. It is about like the transcendence, the rebirth, the fertility. And what I really love is in the book, it says a symbol of abundance. No shit. There's a lot of, and here's the thing, like I kept getting like in threes. And so this is more than one particular area of life. Like, so when you're thinking of abundance, don't narrow it down to just money. Okay. Think of prosperity and wealth and abundance and getting some good shit, things that you desire, your desires. Think of your desires, right? Now, I'm not blowing smoke up anybody's ass because there's going to be some stuff transpiring. Okay. The thing is, this talks about very sudden movements, swift movements, like unexpected, sudden changes. And so there is a need to be flexible, okay? To kind of go with the flow and not resist and not, like, you know, panic. Not that I'm saying you would, I'm just saying, right? So this is kind of like new things can pop off at this time, right? It could be like a lucrative opportunity. It could be something creative, but something gets born, right? Something is, you know, the other thing I want to talk about the moon here is that, it's associated with witches who could transform into hares, okay? Shapeshifters, in order to escape their persecutors. So it does talk about self-transformation, transcendence. But I'm heavy emphasis on escaping something. And so again, it's really good. It is really good, but it is a lot of change, okay, for whoever this reading is going to, okay? And sometimes change can be overwhelming a bit, right? Hence the reason, instead of like feeling like, oh no, too much, oh no, I'm not in control, I've got to, like, you've got to go with the flow. Okay. And then lunar light. I don't know why I said it like that. This is talking about happiness and a resolution to something and magic entering into your fucking life. In fact, magic being involved in the process of this, okay? This is like talking like things are going to be smoothed out, okay? Long before you ever get to them. So if changes start happening and you jump 10 steps ahead and you're like, but what about this? And it's like, you ain't even there yet. Don't worry about it. It will be worked out by the time you get to it. So when you're future casting or projecting into the future and you're trying to, like, you know, see things 100 steps ahead so you can plan to kind of like, oh my God, what about this? And this is like, if those obstacles don't have anything to do with the present moment, it'll be worked out by the time you get to it. Okay. So again, go with the flow. Don't resist. Don't let yourself get wrapped up in your mind about, okay, but what about this and this? And it's like, are we even there yet? We're not? Okay. It does remind you that the future's bright. It does say that issues will be resolved soon. So again, I feel like you're escaping something, but if there's been any obstacles that attribute to why you couldn't get away out of a situation previously, don't obsess over those, because again, by the time you get to it where it would pose a problem, it's going to be worked out, okay? And it's gonna be better than you imagine. So they're really asking you not to fear, to not even buy into that. And this is supposed to be like a really major reassurance to you, okay? So if you're going, yeah, but, they're like, no. Honestly, it's going to be worked out, okay? So let us find out specifically what is transpiring within this 2-week time frame that's most pertinent for you to be aware of, okay? And they want me to grab just a couple from Archangel Tarot. Again, I want to say January is the month where people are really figuring out, okay, I'm one of the ones that's in this space that has to move. Like there's these revelations, aha moments, and events that are happening external to you that solidify, like, yeah, okay, all right, that's me. And it either happens exceptionally fast or you begin the process. And some people, it's going to take a couple of months in order to be able to make the transition. I do feel like the bulk of individuals will find themselves doing most of the transition or location changes within the first 6 months, 7 months of the year. But so this particular read feels like some shit's going down. This is for those who are the quicker change, the quicker turnaround on this revelation and what's going to be happening. So, there's that I'm gonna look 20, because the Queen of Swords tries to take it, the eagle eye view, tries to get the greater picture understanding and looks at everything, sees the steps ahead, plans and plots and understands how to maneuver around that. There is going to be some decision making, right? They do want you to be a bit more objective and not to get wrapped up in the emotions of it, because that's where the fear will reside. But what is happening is going to clear away. And we know that because there's a sense of escaping something. And that word seems to be pertinent, we'll say. So there's this clearing away of things that don't serve you. So some things are going to be removed. But I want to say it's not like it's removed and then you go. I feel like there's this, it falls away because of some decisions that you make, right? And choices that you make. So, yeah. We're going to go with that. That definitely, yeah, decisions that you're going to be making. Again, some of the decisions will have consequences. Again, some of that is, it's just naturally going to remove some stuff. I feel a heavy emphasis on just focusing on the change and not what is being removed as a result. And I don't know if that, I don't think that's really spirit telling you that. I feel like that's just naturally what you're going to do. Because I feel so much so like this future casting. Like you're really looking at, like, I just don't feel like you're going to care what leaves. Okay? It's not like you're still holding on to something and no, it's being ripped from your grasp. That's not it. If you fear something, it's something that you're predicting or assuming or seeing as a potentiality that's ahead of you, right? So anything that falls away just doesn't feel like a problem or even an area of focus for you, okay? So the Two Swords is that point of decision. And when you look at something without fear, and you look at, they keep saying, see the humor in a situation. That's what it said. And I'm like, what do you mean by see the humor? It's kind of like, two. So the Two of Cups does talk about things coming in alignment and a positive resolution. It literally says that positive resolution of a conflict. I feel like the Two of Swords really talks about you. That feels like the past energy. Being in a stalemate almost. Unable to make a different choice or a different decision. And then it's kind of like, when this happens, it just happens so naturally and easily. It's like, you may have tried to force it. Again, this is why they think that you're going to like, mentally do gymnastics around this thing. They're like, don't do that. Because you have been in that energy of trying to figure shit out and seeing no potential recourse. And then all of a sudden, poof, it all just kind of lines up. And you're like, that's the humor. They're like, you're going to be like, are you kidding me? All the time spent where I've been trying to work this out, figure it out, and it just all does it on its own. I don't know why I feel like I want to look at my spirit team and be like, are y'all fucking kidding me? There's a sense of, it was like all the times that they were like, just don't worry about it. You know, and you're like, are you shitting me? Like, you know, it's like, because it was really futile. There was, when it's meant to happen, it's going to happen kind of thing. When things are in alignment, it'll be easy. And it's like, I don't know why I feel like saying all that wasted energy, brain power, like, you know what I mean? I'm kind of like, yeah. Anyways, so that's what I'm feeling here, is that it just all happens so easily. Well, dang. All right. Yeah, a sudden event. And timing matters. Like, they're giving me a very tight time frame. Like, this is going to, like, it is happening for whoever this is for. It's happening within the next 2 weeks. And it feels like several things happening. Almost as if maybe whatever initially happens, again, things are going to follow. It just creates other changes. You know, it's kind of like this one thing can't happen without these other things happening too. This is also like acting on something without hesitation. So I feel like there's not really going to, like, you may find yourself in a space where you go, and you try to think 100 steps ahead, and they're like, focus on the task at hand and deal with that, and don't hesitate. Like, don't procrastinate trying to figure it all out. Just start doing. And I think that has to do with this, because the Five of Wands is like different things pulling at your attention and competing bothersome details. That's really what it talks about. Is like something where it's like bothersome detail. Like don't get wrapped up in some of the details that are not pertinent to the very moment that you're in. Okay, this is the end of a difficult situation. You can expect things to get better. You just got to embrace the change. All right, just embrace the change. Don't think 20 steps ahead, but what if about this? And this is really asserting your independence, having faith in yourself, having confidence in yourself. Don't underestimate what you're capable of. I think some of that fear mongering about future steps has something to do with that. But they're saying this is your opportunity to kind of like spread your wings and fly. And this is what they're wanting you to do. Okay. So tell me about the event. Can we get any kind of specific, like, what is the ricochet thing that's going to initiate? And how does it, oh, I knew there was more that had flipped over. Okay, so we both have the things falling away that just aren't supposed to, but that happens when you leave something. So this is some type of transition. It is turning away from something and the opposite direction. You may be leaving a job. You may be leaving a residence. Potentially leaving a relationship. They have brought that out too, but it's taking you, it allows you to move in a direction towards what you desire and want. So there is again, the choice is that you choose to turn away and walk towards what you want. That's really what it is. Because in the 8 of Cups, you're going to the 9 of Cups. That's your wish fulfillment. That's your desires, right? And like, you can't walk towards that and not leave something. But this feels like they talk about it like it's a natural evolution. So I don't feel you fighting or resisting this. Again, if something has to fall away, you're like, fine. Like, you don't care. Let's say you get a job offer and you have to move. You're like, okay. Like, there's no attachment to whatever. If it is leaving a relationship, it's one that you are so ready to do. You're so ready to move in a different direction. Because the call towards the Nine of Cups, your soul's call, is so much stronger and louder than... I want to say that there's not as much of there's not an attachment there. There's a readiness to move on. If it's a job, it's no skin off my nose, right? To have to leave it behind. There's just, it doesn't have that ring to it. This is like a preparedness. I got to be honest with you. And that's what was on one of these. No, one of these was talking about preparation. Can't remember which one it was. Oh, one of these was. I think the lunar light was preparation. There's a sense, because that's the rebirth. Like, you're already prepared for this. The Eight of Pentacles is the idea that you are well versed in something. Seven of Pentacles is kind of like the beginning stages. It's a cultivation period. It is the whatever. The Eight of Pentacles is there's something that's been honed within you. And so it's like something so well cultivated. There's a preparedness. There's a readiness for this. So that makes sense. We had 2288. It makes sense where I was like, there's no attachment to something. You're already ready. Like, you're primed and ready. Like, there's this, I don't know how to explain it. The funny thing is, I think it's less transcendent and more of a rebirth for you. And the Four of Wands is the idea of like a completion of a project. It's that sense of accomplishment, milestone within one's life. And so it's kind of like you've already been positioned internally and somehow externally. Like, that's why this point in time, the humor in the situation is like all that mental gymnastics and fretting and trying to do things. It couldn't happen because if you feel like you have been stripped of a lot of stuff, that was because it makes this changeover very easy. I mean, it just makes it so easy. It almost creates the clean slate, is what I want to say. So there was a lot of, like, you are already prepared. That's the reason it feels like the path has already been smoothed. So if you do try to project something, they're like, you have no clue. Like, some of the shit that occurred actually was for these things that you're thinking about. And when you get to them, you're going to be like, oh. And you'll see how, I feel like you're going to chuckle at, like, you're going to think, oh, I was a little dramatic. Or, you know, it's almost like, you know how people have like this self-deprecating humor? It's like you're going to suddenly realize, like, oh, oops. You know, like, oops, spirit. I know I threw up during that time. I know that you kept telling me, and I'm like, I get it now. Like, something that has already transpired actually helps with the smoothing of any of these pebbles that you, or boulders, whatever you're perceiving you might encounter, right? So everything's like, the foundation is already laid. It's good. Everything's prepared. It's going to be very easy to just kind of like make the decision and do. Okay. Oh, baby. That was not meant to come out. Sorry. Yeehaw. You are ready. I told you. The magician is like, you're primed, you're ready, you are ready. So like sometimes we always wonder when readers are talking about like, you're ready, you're like, what the fuck do you mean? Like as it unfolds, you're like, oh. I mean the level of resistance that you have to this and the level like it's gonna be a lot easier for you to go with the flow. Literally the only thing they're like, don't think about the 20 steps ahead. Don't future cast like this problem, like you're just kind of like used to it. Like that's how your brain has been operating for quite some time. But the energy within you is, there is no resistance. It's like, let's do this. You know what I mean? And so as long as you just stay in the moment, you're good, is what I want to say. And it literally says you will have the resources and the ability. Like it's going to feel magical. You know what I mean? Like what the, you know, as it's unfolding. Yeah. Nine of Wands really is just talking about having the courage and believe in yourself, to persevere, keep moving forward. And I want to say, I don't feel like as you move forward with what the events that happen, that you feel like you have to have courage. I do want to say that, at most, what I'm getting from this, because the Nine of Wands really does talk about at times really building that wall, having this major defense mechanism within you, to try and kind of like prepare yourself for worst case scenario and things like that. And so sometimes it creates a resistance. But the King of Swords really talks about making decisions and taking the actions that are necessary. I mean, by all means, do what you have to do to protect your, like, they're not telling you to abandon your wisdom, right? Spirit would never do that. What they're saying is that don't let you've developed a muscle of protection. And it is that future casting. That really is what it is. Make decisions and act on them. This isn't a time to sit on the laurels. This isn't a time to procrastinate. Time is of the essence. And so you have to kind of like, you're going to be placed in a position where the reason they have shrunk down the time frame of things is because when you're under pressure, you do a better job of deciding and doing, deciding and doing, deciding and doing. You don't let yourself, you're like, oh, I got to do. There's something about, you might be neurodivergent, there's something about the pressure of something last minute where you perform the best and you don't let yourself get wrapped up in. It's like you execute really good decision making, you follow through with them, Because the King of Swords is I make a decision and it's the kind of decision that requires action, right? Otherwise it's just a thought. And so I want to say the suddenness and the rapidness was strictly to get you into this energy where that's not a problem. Where, yes, you protect yourself, but you don't get wrapped up in that sense of defense that slows you down. It is I wait to write my essay till the night before because I get the best performance. Spirit knows you. They're like, all right, we're just going to use it to our advantage, right? We're not going to fight against how you naturally operate as a human. We're going to use it to our advantage, and this is what we're going to do. I like it. I like it. Work with and not against, right? Like, Spirit could create a situation where it's like you feel shameful about how you operate naturally as a human. Parts of those things, you know, and sometimes like the idea of like neurodivergence being a gift and a curse at the same time kind of thing. And it's like, why work against what we have? You were created this way as a human for a reason, for a purpose, and Spirit's just going to use it. Like, if that's the best way to approach something with, when you're faced with this kind of fast moving changes, again, when they cram it into a shorter period of time and you're required to perform, you tend to be more in the flow. When you have too much time, that's where you're not in the flow, because your brain starts coming in, right? You just work optimally, whoever I'm reading for. So that's the reason why. And the preparedness piece is going to make sure that after everything happens, you don't have this unraveling. Because, you know, when something very traumatic happens and you perform really well, you know, afterwards there's this, it's like you deal with the ramifications of having to, it's like you lose your shit afterwards, you unravel, because of the heightened cortisol and stress, you know, and it's like trying to get that back into balance. But this feels like you're ready for it. Like, they've primed your central nervous system and everything. It's like there is no resistance within you. So once this transpires, you're not going to feel depleted, and you're not going to have to take time to recover like you would normally when something felt, you know, the sense of urgency is different than when a negative event is occurring. This feels very positive. So what are we going to... Is there an ignition event that we want to address? Yes. Hermetic Tarot. All right. Oof, that's the heart palpitations. The heart, ooh, picked up the ignition event. What is it? Because Eight of Cups tells me you turn and you start to walk towards something. So does the King of Swords. There's a decision and action as a result. Almost. Wow. Okay, that's a lot. Let's... Two of Pentacles and the Six of Swords. There is a next step, a move, and the means provided to do such. Though it's a harmonious change. Your emphasis may have been in one area, like your focus is just honing in on something. It's like a combination of this is the next step to get you going where you need to go, or doing what you need to do, and it's like the means to do it. I feel like that shows up simultaneously. This is new. If you are like it, and it does require a leap of faith because it is something that's new. So if you're thinking like something from the past is going to pop up, like this feels very they want me to put this back in the reverse and say it's not risky. I think the fact that everything that you need, like, both of these talk about positive developments, right? Six of Swords is moving into calmer waters. It is a very harmonious change. It's a calmer waters kind of thing. It does talk about success, you know, and there's just something about, it is very brand new, but there's no risk to it. Now that's probably where somebody's going, how? Because again, that's your mind where it wants to go 10 steps ahead. Like, how is it? There's no, it's really not risky. It's not risky. Maybe there's a risk to your, I don't know, to your ego, or, you know, but it's not risky. There's definitely an end to some kind of unstable effort. I feel like you were like the hamster on the wheel, where like whatever you did was like, brrr, and you would wear yourself out, and then you take yourself out of the game, and then you try to get back in, and brrr, like you would do it whatever you could to try and move forward. And so it created this sense of inconsistency, because it was kind of like, I'm not bought into even trying. And it feels like you didn't have the momentum or the capacity to do certain things. That's where the unstable effort, it's kind of like they're showing me some like electricity that, like, you know, when a light fixture starts flickering, sometimes it's just that it's not connecting quite right? It doesn't have the right current. Ten of Swords is there is a sense of surrender to it, but it is again, accepting the change and going with the flow, because everywhere is up from here, right? Seven of Swords also talks about your positive, like a positive mental preparation, right? Your position, I just want to say the surrender, and that might be a part of the preparation that they were talking about, is the way in which you view all of this, like your positive mental positive mental positioning, right? How you look at something when it's coming to you. So that was a part of the preparation. You've earned this. That's where the earned success comes from, because to as in the Six of Swords, to go across those choppy waters to get to the calm waters, you've already done what was necessary. So it's a very peaceful process that's about to transpire. And so the Seven of Swords is saying you've already done that. Like, you surrendered, you're ready for the this change, this shift. You won't create resistance, because you have the only way to ensure the success of the Six of Swords is with the Seven of Swords seeing something right, so that you don't have any self-illusions or delusions, so that you don't deceive the self, so that you approach something appropriately, right? And sometimes a lot of the lies that we tell ourselves are, this won't work out, or this can't happen, or, oh no, this is gonna blah, blah, blah. Like, we future cast, right? And we future cast something very negative. And so we don't believe, like the Queen of Wands, in ourselves or the capacity. And so this is kind of like you've already surrendered this. And then we have the Eight of Swords in reverse. So you won't be holding yourself back at all. You don't feel trapped by your own fears. And everything is going to be able to open up as a result. Okay. So we get something arrives where we have the resources, it's like there's no risk. Something arrives. Yeah, we are being guided. Okay. At some point we're going to talk about the again, we're escaping something, being guided out of this oppressive situation. So tell me about, I want to know this, the windfall, the sudden change. Tell me about that, Spirit. We want to go ahead and wrap this up as quickly as possible. Okay. Azathoth Tarot. I was going to go for Kipper. That seems a little more detail-oriented, but okie dokie. Death and rebirth. Definitely going to transform your material world. They're showing me how the Hermit is facing this direction. The Page of Pentacles is facing this direction. I feel as if the Hermit has really been, you have really been in a very secluded, isolated kind of like existence for a period of time. And this is a direction that you didn't see coming, the change that you didn't see coming, because and it's like the page is saying this away. So they're likening the Page of Pentacles with the Two of Pentacles. Why are you not saying it to me? It's like it's as if I'm like, I can feel them right there, like they want to say it and they're not saying it. I'm talking about spirit. Sorry, guys. Like, and I'm trying to figure out this, and I'm like, is it money? Is it family? Is it? They're like, it's everything. And I'm like, I get that. I get whatever's happening is going to filter into, it's going to create massive change in somebody's life. So it's like your life as it was, dead, gone. It's a whole, you're like, it's like being reborn. It's a whole completely different life. Tell me about the Queen of Pentacles, please. And I'm not sure why they don't want to talk about, and I know there's probably, the events are going to be so varied and whatnot. What it brings in, okay, we say this all the time, something that you've been missing, it brings it in. We have the Knight of Pentacles and the Six of Pentacles. Told you you're going to get, it's going to be, so something is coming in to you. That's what this number 5 is, that allows this to be a harmonious change. Is the resources what instigates the change, or is there another event attached to that? Is it the means, like having exactly what you need, that creates the change? Or because I got it was coming in simultaneously. I feel like there's an event. Tell me about the event. Hierophant. Something very large scale. A Hierophant talks about government, talks about institutions, organizations, something well established, large. So something large scale may happen. Now I know that there's a lot going on. Canada's Prime Minister is doing something, whatever. I know that the United States has some type of inauguration type of thing. This feels like it's something external to you, an event external to you that happens. This is power. The King of Pentacles. King of Pentacles doesn't feel like the person that I'm reading for. The person I'm reading for is the Queen of Pentacles. Yes, it could be meeting someone. It could be that chance encounter that we were talking about. That just, you know, like individuals that are in alignment coming together. There's something here, but it feels very, It's huge. The Hierophant is, and I know that if it's going to change, it's going to be change for your rest of your life. That's going to be huge. For those that are walking, like Eight of Cups, it makes it easier to walk away. You may be meeting somebody that either gives you a job or something that makes it easier to leave a situation where you felt trapped before. You were so fearful of, like this is giving like a marriage. I can't do it on my own anyways. So that's only one of the examples. Something happens that gives you the resources to do it. And dare I say, people who are staying in marriages of convenience, there may be a person that comes through that you cross paths with, and you're like, you realize just how much, you realize what's possible. And you're like, why am I staying here? Like, I feel like it would be something that's been dragged out for quite some time, and you just, both parties just are going through the motions. Or it's a situation, you may already be separated. I am getting like a final decision to leave somebody, like a final decision to like a divorce. I am feeling something to that degree. I am also seeing somebody who maybe have been harping. I don't know if that's like but like in a situation where like you're like still stuck on a past situation in love life and feeling like that's impacted you, and somebody crosses your path to make you go, why am I doing that? Why have I been holding back? Like, I feel like maybe somebody's not been on the dating scene. We got Hermit, who hasn't been wanting to go a particular direction. Like, I'll just stay to myself. I'm not going to go, because the Page of Pentacles talks about a whole new path initiating, right? Something with potential. And so somebody may cross your path to make you go, to be interested in love again, to be interested in dating again, to be willing to let go of what happened in the past and fully walk away. But you've been primed and ready for this, because if this person had showed up before, you've been like, I can't do it. It's all just going to turn out bad. There's something that ignites. So for some of you all, it absolutely really is. When they gave the list of things on here, it is going to be like a person crosses your path. And this can be like a larger soul type connection. And it would take something like that to kind of like pull you out of again, it gives you what you need to leave something easily. Others, this can be some type of offer that's being presented that would take you out of hermit mode and being all wrapped up in your own little world. Like, there's only so much self-discovery, I'm just going to say, that you can do before it becomes rancid and toxic. And you know what I mean? Like, if you're just like, if that's all you're doing with all of your time and everything, it's like, you've been in that long enough. It's time to transition. And it's taking you out of that, right? I will go to the extent that somebody might be coming into money. But it does feel like something triggers that for the money to come in. So there's an event that precipitates that type of thing. Can you help me understand so it would be somebody connected to this organization, somebody in a position that has connections or something like that. Okay, what else is? Seven of Swords and Justice. if something had happened where something that was really wrong and that's what's kept you in this position, you might see some justice. That might be the event that triggers this. Whether it is, I do get something for some individuals where it's court related. This could be there's somebody, you may be in a position where something was done dirty. If you were done, if something happened because from a large organization, right? You may, I'm just hearing reparations for what occurred. This is like, again, an organization, a structure, whatever. And you could be getting repaid for some wrongdoing. Something's being put right. So there may be some kind of like intervention. It would require a third party to kind of justice could be like a determination. I don't know why I'm getting like something for some, this may be something that you didn't even know. Like they're giving me the example of like, child support, where it's kind of like, I don't know if you were, like you didn't realize you were missing out on. This happened to me before, right? Where it was just enough that was like, they would give me the child support in like 3 different payments. And so it got to real hard. And every month there was something different, even though that was supposed to be consistent. And they would swear up and down that they were giving them. So I got to a point where I just quit paying attention to it. And it was brought to my attention that for the last year, I had not been receiving a certain amount of money. And so it was like this external, you know, and a judgment was made that, and it was no fault of anybody's. It was kind of like the in-between people that were getting shit wrong, not the fathers or, you know, and so something ended up being rectified. I've known somebody with unemployment issues. They were denied, and finally it's like they appealed things, and so they went for so long, and then like the back pay of it, like they were determined to have they received money that was withheld from them. That could be because there was some level of a deception, and that feels very external, and that's being balanced back out. So if something was done wrong, like if you've been in a stuck position because of some wrongdoing that was done before, it's being made right. And I feel like there's an event, like it comes to somebody's attention. So there may be some kind of like court or authority figure. Because remember I kept saying it feels like it's like an authority figure, and he feels like he's some office of authority that's like, no, this is this. And so it precedes any money coming in, or it precedes something to some degree. Anything else? Are you serious? Oh, Lord have mercy. My thing just fell right off my chair. All right, and in what other way, what other kind of event is going to ricochet this? That I wasn't even... Okay. Tell me about the Page of Pentacles. Let's go that direction and see what it says, and then we'll wrap this up. Well, no shit. Well, that I got. I said this is like going a completely different direction. Knight of Swords talks about a pivot, a 180. Like a turnaround, like going in a completely different direction. Utter change. A stark contrast. Yeah, it lets you go down a different path. Okay, so again, waxing gibbous. Oh shit. 3 of Pentacles. The High Priestess. Somebody may have some positive event that happens within career, either a job offer or a promotion of some sorts. Because this is kind of like, High Priestess is the idea of like, this is meant for you. This is something that you're aligned with. It's something that's your talent or your gift. And so it's kind of like, it was always meant to happen this way. There's a level of public recognition and being seen with the Three of Pentacles, but it does have a very creative, material connection to it, right? I always say this is my commission card, like, because these individuals commission this person to do something. And so it's like something is going to be on display for people, but again, this could be the contracts. We got in one of the past readings, like contracts coming in, for something that you're meant to be doing. Okay. We might do some separate readings about the person or the events. There's that fucking Tower card. There's the Tower. We're going to try and wrap this up. Six of Swords. Yes, the event happens and it moves you out of a situation. Like, it just makes it so easy. Harmonious change. It takes you out of this sense of stagnancy and apathy. Wow. They want me to switch these, and they're like, take the cup, take whatever happens. Like, obviously not shit's been happening. So when this proverbial cup comes from the sky, when this transpires, don't project into the future about how that's going to pan out, or what about this, or what about that later down the road. You need to make decisions and act on them. Just make decisions and act on them. This is a fated change. This is a massive change that's coming for you. But it's your key to your freedom. It's key to your freedom. It's key to your gaining yeah, there's just an event, and then the really good change, and you just need to ride the wave, go with the flow. Okay, all right, well, we're just gonna leave it there. I don't want to like overdo this, but do anticipate a lot of changes over the next 2 weeks. I feel like there's an initial something and there's a cascade of things, but with this group, the changes will have a very quick turnaround. And again, like I said, that's intentional on Spirit's part, because you perform your best when things are left to the last minute. So, all right, I hope this message finds whoever it's meant for. I appreciate your time. I will see you in the next reading.